Hi, everyone. Welcome to the stream today. It's Miriam, and today I'm lucky to have Daniel with me to chat a little bit about his entrepreneur journey in help and support of the QUOKA project. Hey, Daniel, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not bad this morning, just crazy that it's Friday already. It's been such a long week. It went by
Agreed.
very fast. Well, I really appreciate you setting aside time to chat with me this morning. As you know, I'm working on QUOKA, the anonymous text messaging club for founders and entrepreneurs. And I am appreciative of you taking time to chat about your experience. It'll help me build a better product. And all the questions I ask you today are just part of the research. They're not like right or wrong answers in any way. So thanks again for taking time.
I'm glad to do it.
Do you have any questions before we get started?
I do not.
Okay. Let's start off with just a little bit about you. Why don't you just bring me up to speed with kind of like your journey up until this point, how you got to where you are today?
Great. So as I mentioned before we went live, I am a blind guy. I've also have some other disabilities, including chronic pain and anxiety. And I spent most of my life being told all the things I supposedly couldn't do. About 4 years ago, somebody challenged me to let go of my own internalized negative expectations and really start asking myself what I wanted to do, which led me to really allow myself to say, well, what if I went to law school? Why not? And 2 years later, while I was in law school, I was coming out of a pretty dark place mentally, or actually still in a pretty dark place mentally, and really wanted some purpose beyond just the future of being a lawyer, and had seen a gap in the disability and chronic illness space where a lot of our population still wasn't being served effectively, which is what inspired me to ask my cousin, hey, do you want to go start a nonprofit foundation? And we'll get into maybe later, if you're interested, how a nonprofit foundation fits into entrepreneurship, because I promise it does. But it's been that balance of really trying to serve the population and using that as a means to help me with my own pain, both mentally and physically, and then take those things I gain and put it back into the nonprofit. So trying to create a virtuous cycle there.
Wow. What a journey you have had. I did not know that that was what you were going to share live on the internet today. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I I think for me, I'm getting more and more comfortable sharing this because it's nothing to be ashamed of. I didn't do anything wrong to have um the pain that I deal with, both mentally and physically. I've made my choices, good and bad, like every other human. But the things that have been said to me, the professionals who told me and told my parents, oh, he'll never amount to anything. He'll be able to, cane chairs if he's lucky. He's not worth educating. All of those other things, those aren't my fault. And really and truly, as I've learned that in a lot of ways, those aren't those people's fault either. It's a product of a system that is very broken.
Mm.
I have found the ability on a good day, and we can get into this too, but on a good day, I can say, look, these people, for the most part, they weren't malicious. It's just a system that is, in so many ways, still arcane, but I can wake up every morning and try to make it a little better. Especially as you see people really start to lean further into their potential and say, look, I have my good days, I have my bad like everybody else, but the positive energy that comes from at least doing one's best to create a little hope, it's not nothing. And so I view it as a blessing in a way that I get to come on shows like yours and share some things that are pretty vulnerable onto the internet, because I want people to understand it's nothing to be ashamed of. I want the stigma to go away. And the only way that the stigma goes away is if we're able to say, look, I have these characteristics the same as I had brown eyes and dark hair. It's no different. And it's nothing good or bad. It's just part of who we are. And it's how we choose to take those characteristics and run with them or work with them that really defines where we go next.
For those people that said those things that you have so much understanding and empathy and for, which to me feels very wise, to be able to shift mindset out of hurt or anger and into a place of not blaming them. Do you feel that they should feel badly about the things that they have said?
I hope that they learn. I was actually just having a conversation with someone a few minutes ago on the topic, and I think we've all, especially in the last couple of years, as our social consciousness has been mercifully raised, um, you know, guilt and shame and all of those things, if they're a catalyst to further progress, then they can be useful in that very limited capacity. But do I want people to really live in regret over the mistakes they've made any more than I do in mine? No, because that just, if it further widens that chasm, it becomes a negative cycle instead of a positive cycle of, instead of spurring positive growth and learning, we're just further dividing ourselves if we just get stuck in that guilt and shame cycle.
Mm-hmm. Agree. Do you belong to any entrepreneur communities?
I do. I have a couple of communities that I've been a part of, and I'll tell you, it's been incredibly important because this is hard work. And the amount of vulnerability involved is real.
Totally. I think doing a nonprofit is extremely challenging. It's another level of entrepreneurship.
It is. I mean, it's all of the challenges that come with a for-profit business with less money and more rules.
Yeah. And you can't do it by yourself either, like legally.
Exactly.
You can't I'm a solo nonprofit person. Yeah. You have to have a team. Okay, this next series of questions is just kind of true or false, yes or no.
Okay.
Being an entrepreneur is fun. True or false?
Yes, true.
Being an entrepreneur is hard.
Oh, mercy, yes. True.
You feel understood as an entrepreneur.
I would say false. Just in the sense that I don't know that nonprofit leaders are always thought of, like you said, in the conventional entrepreneur space.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel listened to as an entrepreneur?
True, but barely.
Mm-hmm. Do the people around you understand the problems and challenges you face as an entrepreneur?
Oh, no, definitely false.
Do you feel that life as an entrepreneur is depressing at times?
Yes.
Do you feel pressure to be involved in communities online and in person?
Yes.
Do you enjoy helping others and solving problems?
Yes, definitely.
When it takes you a few days to reply to someone asking for your help, do you feel guilty?
Yes. Days, weeks. Yeah.
Do you feel pressure to appear to look like you know what you're doing as an entrepreneur?
Yes.
Do you feel confident that you always know what you're doing as an entrepreneur?
Sometimes, but not always.
Do you have people that you can speak to about your deepest thoughts and challenges about being an entrepreneur?
I do.
Do you feel comfortable asking for help when you need it?
Yes.
What do you like best about being an entrepreneur? Why are you doing this?
Because I genuinely think that we offer something novel that can help people, that can help people really lean into their full potential.
What do you like least about being an entrepreneur? What is the most challenging aspect of this work?
Um, I think the standard, too much to do and too little resources.
If you were giving advice to an aspiring founder, what would you tell them that they need to fulfill their full potential?
I think connecting is got to be the biggest one. Surround yourself with people who believe in what you're trying to do and bring different ideas to the table.
Mm-hmm. Do you have everything that you need to fulfill your potential as an entrepreneur?
No.
When you need information, you want to learn something new related to your business, or you need help or support with a challenge that your business is facing, where do you go for the answer?
I usually start within the support groups that I'm in, um, or the advisors that we have.
How much time does it typically take you to get the information or support that you need?
I would say usually within a few days.
Okay. How would you rate your overall mental health on a scale from 0 to 10? 10 being the highest.
Um, Probably about a 6. It's improving, but it's not where I'd like to have it yet.
How does it make you feel on a scale of 1 to 10 that you've rated your mental health at a 6?
Um, I'm gonna say a 7 because it's a lot better than where it was even just a couple years ago. I think it's on the right track.
Can you hear that dog barking?
I can.
Yeah? Okay, let me try to close this door. Here. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Still kind of loud, but okay. Now I'm going to read off some terms to you, some words, and you can choose if they have been negatively affected when you have felt less than great mentally.
Okay.
So, has your confidence been negatively impacted when you have felt less than great mentally?
Oh, yes.
Has your employment,
Yes.
friendships,
Yes.
social life,
Yes.
eating habits,
Yes.
activity,
Yes.
sleep,
Yes.
budget,
Yes.
romantic relationships,
Yes.
anything else negatively impacted when you felt less than great mentally?
I would say overall health and particularly pain level.
Okay, for these next ones, I'm going to ask you whether the items have had a positive, neutral, or negative effect on your mental health.
Okay.
So, social media, positive, negative, no effect.
Probably positive.
The news,
Good and bad, so I'll say neutral.
family,
Um, Positive because I'm learning how to deal with family.
aren't we all? Friendships,
Yes, positive.
work,
Positive.
volunteering, giving back,
Positive.
romantic relationships.
I'm gonna say neutral.
Out of the list, which has the most positive effect on your mental health? Social media, the news, family, friendships, work, volunteering, romantic relationships, or none?
Um, I'm gonna say friendship because I have the privilege of doing, the work and the volunteering with my friends. So I think friendship is probably the common key there.
Mm. How many hours per week do you spend with your friends?
Um, Probably, I don't know, 10 or so.
What support do you need to help manage your mental health?
Um, I've gotten to a point now where actual therapy has come, less often and just more having friends who, the right friends who are capable of helping me walk through some of the anxiety, you know, hurdles that still occasionally pop up.
Mhm. Do you use any applications or websites to help manage your mental health?
Not currently.
Can you tell me about a time you felt mentally unhealthy or imbalanced?
Um, Actually, right before we launched the nonprofit, it was very, very dark.
What triggered you to feel that way?
Um, there was a situation I found myself in, um, romantically that didn't turn out the way that either of us had hoped it would. Um, and a friendship romantic kind of thing. And but really, I think that was a symptom, or the disparate impact was a symptom of the fact that I was still feeling very insecure about myself at that point. And so that situation was just a trigger for, some very dark feelings about myself that just came out to play at that point.
Hmm. You mentioned you talked to your friends about your mental health. Do you speak to family members or counselors as well?
I did have a therapist. We're still in touch, but it's not a frequent thing. I do occasionally talk to some family, but I find it's harder for family than it is friends.
So, how often do you speak to your friends about your mental health? Often, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Do you talk to them in person, virtual meeting, phone call, text message?
It's usually more of the phone or text message.
What support do you need that you're not receiving to help manage your mental health?
Nothing immediately comes to mind.
What would you expect to pay for a platform that created a more positive impact on your mental health?
I would say maybe as a monthly thing, maybe in the $10 to $20 a month range. I don't know, just off the top of my head.
When you're thinking about the mental health of people that you know, how do you think most of them would rate their mental health on a scale from 0 to 10?
I'd say on the whole, probably around maybe a 6 or a 7.
Okay, great. Do you use Twitter,
Occasionally, yes.
Instagram,
No.
Facebook,
Yes.
Clubhouse,
Just getting started on that.
WhatsApp,
No.
TikTok,
No.
Reddit,
No.
Snapchat,
No.
Twitch?
No.
Do you use any other social media platforms that I didn't name?
LinkedIn.
On average, how many messages do you receive a day?
Just through different combined social, or what do you mean by messages?
Yeah, combined social, texts.
Yeah. We'll say ballpark 10.
How does receiving 10 messages a day make you feel?
Good, I suppose.
On average, how many messages do you send a day?
Somewhere in that same area.
How does sending about 10 messages make you feel a day?
Slightly stressed out.
Okay, now this is going to be an interesting and valuable and important test for me because I'm not sure how accessible my website is. It is important to me to have an accessible website, but we're going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Are you able to share your screen with me so that I can see what happens with you while you're navigating the site?
I don't know how to do that on here.
Let's see. Is there, it should have a, there should be a button. I don't know how accessible StreamYard is, to be honest. But it should have a share option.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You're not seeing, or obviously you're not.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm not finding it.
Okay. I can send you I can tell you the URL, and do you want to just see how it goes?
Sure, I've got my iPad here, so.
Okay, cool. Nice. It is or let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
CHIBUR
All right.
.info / QUOKA.
Okay.
If you could just kind of talk me through what you're experiencing.
Okay, I agreed that QUOKA is not therapy. That was easily done. And I'm kind of scrolling through the different text. Saw the terms of use and privacy policy. There's some pictures with some text here. Think I'm mostly getting. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think overall it's pretty good. I mean,
Okay.
you know, if you want, we can talk offline about maybe a couple of pointers, but I think overall it's pretty good.
Yeah, that would be great, or any feedback you have on it. The honester, the more, transparent that you can be, the better. I'm just wanting to make it great, so it's not going to hurt my feelings or anything.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
now that go ahead.
I was going to say, well, we can provide some pointers and maybe even provide some assistance too, depending on what you need. So yeah, definitely try to make this less, we try to take the approach of, take the good that's already been done and just add a little to it where need be instead of beating people over the head with it.
Well, now that you've visited the website, how would you describe what QUOKA is and its purpose in 2 to 3 sentences?
I think it looks like a support system for entrepreneurs that recognizes that this journey is difficult on one's mental health and provides some basic tools to help deal with that.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to be added to my email list? You do not have to. It's just a question.
Sure.
Okay, great. Well, that concludes my research questions. Is there anything else you want to mention or that I should know?
I don't think so.
Or viewers that want this back?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Maybe a little bit of more detail on your nonprofit would be good, and where people can find out information about that.
Absolutely. So the nonprofit is called Pieces of Me Foundation, and it's spelled PEACES, kind of keeping with this theme of saying, you know, we're not missing a piece in the traditional sense. We're missing, or we're seeking for that kind of peace that comes from accepting that core part of our identity, and that's really feeds into our mission. So the spelling, you know, syncs rather well with that, because you know we're out there trying to eliminate the stigma surrounding disability and chronic illness, and we consider, you know, mental health conditions that fall under that umbrella. We want to, you know, break down those walls in all of those senses, and really to help people have a platform where they can be as authentic, and not just authentic, but as outgoing with their full reality as they choose to be. You know, whether someone chooses to self-disclose is always a personal choice. We're not here to force anyone to do so by all means, but we are trying to make it to where if someone wants to openly talk about whether it's their mental health journey, their physical health, whatever it may be, that they feel comfortable doing so, that they feel like the world at large values that part of them instead of expects them to keep it in the closet. And so we can be found at piecesofme.org. And again, that's PEACES of me.org. We are Pieces of Me Foundation on Facebook, LinkedIn. I believe we do have some Instagram and Twitter accounts as well. And, you know, really just, I think, you know, the message here is kind of going back to we are who we are. It's nothing to be ashamed of. As a matter of fact, you know, although there are good days and bad days for all of us, myself included, I think these characteristics of ours, they can bring a lot to the table. They can provide a useful perspective. And, you know, particularly for entrepreneurs, you know, imposter syndrome is real. I know for me, I'm out here talking about the beauty of bringing together all of me to the table, and I still, on a frequent basis, have to, you know, really deal with my own. Well, okay, you're out here talking about inclusion, but do you really accept all of you? Most days, but some days I feel a little off, and that's okay. That's part of being human. And so for other entrepreneurs who are out there, I think, knowing that none of us is alone in that we all go through those mental struggles, and just surrounding ourselves with people who have been there and who can, again, demystify all of it and let every one of us know that this journey with its peaks and valleys is natural, and an integral part of the process is so vital to us being able to make our entrepreneurial journeys a success.
Mm-hmm. Very well said. It sounds beautiful. I'm on the site now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time and for the work that you're doing. I'm really glad we met.
You too.
We can
Thank you.
keep in touch, follow each other's journeys along this path.
Absolutely.
This time. And I will send you a follow-up email with a link to this video. And of course, would love for you to try QUOKA as a thank you for free.
Okay.
If you feel called.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. And then if you need anything, I'm here. Just reach out.
Awesome. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you. Have a good one.